Hey everyone, Head here, and today I'm going to talk about some manga, and we are going to talk about Hiroki Endo's Eden. It's an endless world. So, there's a guy I follow on Twitter. I think he's cool. His name is Mikey Buys Comics. Um, he talks a lot about this series. He highly recommended it. The guy reads enough that I trust his opinion for the most part. So I went ahead and checked this out. Apparently this has been out of print for quite a while, but my LCS had 3 copies of Volume 1, and they have 1 copy of Volume 6, and that's it. So I've only read Volume 1. I think I might buy 6 just so I have it in case I find 2, 3, and 4 later. But it is really, really good. I'm kind of surprised it's out of print. It might just be that it's a little bit too, gritty for most people. It's definitely not fun and lighthearted. It has some lightheartedness to it that is kind of enjoyable. But overall, this is a pretty serious story that's happening here. This is basically after the world has... Okay, so it's kind of set in modern times. But then this group that is at first portrayed as kind of good guys basically creates a super virus that destroys the infrastructure of the world. So it's very much presented like the world is over. But as the story kind of progresses, you learn that there are other people around, and there might even be some semblance of a society still surviving and kicking along. Don't really know much more than that as we finish off book 1. But it's definitely an interesting world to get into. These two on the cover, we actually only really meet them at the beginning of the book, and then probably the last half we're basically following somebody who I believe is their kid, and they may or may not make some sort of appearance later on. This robot creature, this head here that they're laying against, that's a robot by the name of Cherubim, and he was created as like a helper bot, and then somebody at this compound freaked out, downloaded a virus into him, and the helper bot went berserk and just started murdering the shit out of everybody. So they shut him down and basically locked him in the room where he murdered everybody. And our main character basically ferrets out his location, gets into his brain box, fixes the virus, and then brings him back. And some pretty cool scenes with the robot. And probably the last quarter of the book, they go like... I thought the robot was going to be the only real sci-fi element to this. But probably the last quarter we get introduced to all kinds of almost cyberpunk style bionics, which is pretty neat. The art looks just like the cover. I do kind of regret not doing this review at home so that I wouldn't have all these awkward page turn angles and stuff, but you see I wouldn't say the art is great. I'd say the art is actually really, really clean and more black and white than what you see with like modern day grayscales. But the storyline is very gritty, and it's mature. This is about the closest you're ever going to come to any sort of nudity in this book, though. They also do some flashback scenarios, and it's real nice the way they do it. They put all the page background in black to let us know that this is a flashback scenario. I think that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that done or used a lot. And this series was started, this book in particular, was written in 2005, was first published in 2005. Which, according to modern day times in 2005, there were no openly gay people. They were still all hiding in fear from the brutal masses out there that would harm them. But this brave soldier here was an open gay guy, and they don't rub it in our face. They don't have him floating around throwing pixies and fairy dust. The dude is highly intelligent, highly normal, and his story is a tragedy. They did a very good job with this character. Normally, I'm not a fan of when they do that kind of stuff, but they handled it very well. All the characters, even the ones that we don't see a whole lot of, have some very, very, very good history kind of developed around them as you're reading through the story. We also get kind of like almost Easter eggs for modern day stuff, where he's essentially this kid's finding it back in the past, or back in the future. He's finding stuff from like our present and tripping out over it, which is kind of funny in its own little way. So when I first started reading this, I really thought this was going to be kind of attacking religion throughout the whole series, because the first people we meet really are really science heavy, and they kind of just mock religion. And I don't care if you do that or feel that way. It just seemed like an easy route to take, and I was kind of rolling my eyes over it. But as we get into it, it really actually starts delving into more into like what it means to be religious and what the philosophical idea of God is. And that was pretty interesting. I kind of hope they continue along with that line of thought through the rest of the books, assuming I can find the rest of the books. I was looking around for 2 and 3 online. I was having a hell of a time. But it's a pretty cool story. It was $12.95 because Dark Horse did it, and Dark Horse kind of overcharges for their manga. If you can find this in your local shop, or if you can find it online, I highly recommend picking it up. It's a good read. Don't go out and just download it on a Scanlation site and read it there. The reason I want you to go out and actually buy it if you're going to read it is because if we get more sales on this, then there's a good chance that Dark Horse will begin reprinting these again. So those of us who can't find the other books will then be able to find them, which will be nice. But I do think this is very good. I think I mentioned it kind of earlier. The parental advisory is purely because of the violent setting they're in. No real nudity or anything like that. Some very harsh words. Definitely some murdering going on. But yeah, I think it's a good read. You guys should check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't give you more eye candy because of the stupid angle and all that. But Hail Hydra, baby.